Matt, dynamic duo.
Who's starting this?
I don't know who's starting.
I usually start, but I usually sit in the middle too.
Right, I'm ruining the aesthetic. Hello.
You are.
This is another rendition of Josh, Matt, and Dan Chester dynamic trio. We are here to discuss Han Solo, the Solo Cup movie. So Dan, since you have all the notes, we're gonna start with you, and you've seen it at least 3 times.
Yeah.
You're the first out of these,
Yes.
all these.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I loved it. I thought
I know you do.
it's one of
Yeah.
it's one of my favorite movies in a while, just because it was so much fun. What did you think, Josh?
It was better than I initially thought it was going to be. I liked it way better than Rogue One. Rogue One was just, I love the cinematography of Rogue One. I think I liked the most out of all the recent Star Wars movies.
Mm-hmm.
But the look and everything. But it was only surface level good. But like the story and the characters were so just flat and boring. I did not really care. Like when they died, I did not care. But like with Han Solo, the new Solo movie, I think this is the best like you could really expect from a Disney Han Solo, just like independent movie. So I thought it was a fun time.
Yeah. Generally, what did you think, Matt?
Me, I went in with like low expectation about this movie. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be so shitty.
Yeah, I thought
it's
the
not gonna
same.
be good. And I heard so much bad stuff. Okay.
Yeah, the first thing on my list was expectations. So my expectations going into it, I was really scorned from The Last Jedi. Like that made me not. I'm really into like Star Wars and the whole EU, and like I watch Rebels and I read the comics and I read the books, like anything that comes out. And like Thrawn was boring, the Tarkin book was boring, and then Last Jedi sucked. So I was like, Star Wars done. I didn't want to read anything or like collect the toys or
Mm-hmm.
So then coming into this, I was like,
Wait, this is right after Last Jedi. You were
yeah,
done?
yeah. Last Jedi was like the.
So before that, you were like, yeah, I'm ready. And then after Last Jedi,
Well, I mean, I don't think anybody was ever like into a Han Solo movie. I know that George Lucas really wanted to do it, and there were some people, Kasdan wanted to do it, but yeah, before George Lucas signed the papers off to Disney, he was. I don't know, planning on making a Solo movie, or he was discussing with them that like the first stage should have Solo in it. So like essentially Solo represents like the second to last of this like first phase Star Wars, Disney Star Wars.
I guess
The last movie will be Episode 9.
The only thing I can say about George Lucas and like a more recent Han Solo thing is with Episode 3, there was talks about a cameo of like a little freaking 10-year-old Han Solo running around with like on the planet of Kashyyyk with Chewie and everything. Thank God they cut that, because that just sounds like a terrible, awful idea. And like I guess Chewie was gonna raise him with Lumpy and Itchy, and like it would just been terrible.
That's one of the things watching this movie. I was thinking like if George Lucas was the one behind the movie, it probably would have been shitty. Like I don't think it would have been a good movie if it was George Lucas that did it.
To be honest, I'm very curious what George Lucas would have done with the next trilogy.
Yeah, I think that
to me, it would have felt more like Star Wars, to be honest, because it's at least coming from the original creation mind, who kind of streamlined the whole franchise. But like with the prequels, he would kind of, I don't know, no one knew how to say no to his terrible ideas. So it was like, yeah, George, you did great.
He was essentially, funding it. It was all him. He got it distributed by 20th Century Fox.
Really?
Yeah, and aside from that, it was all Lucasfilm. It was all him. He didn't have to answer to anybody.
Which sounds very, very quaint compared to Disney owning Star Wars.
I mean, one thing that I can say that's good about George Lucas and his process with the prequel trilogy was that he was doing them and taking his time, They were going to come out when he was ready to put them out. These movies are sort of like, it's got to come out, next year. And every year there's a Star Wars movie. Like that does not give me faith that these movies
are. It's like a shotgun barrel, just like. here it is, Star Wars. What I liked about the movie, I don't even know the actor's name who played Han Solo.
Eldon Air.
Yeah,
So.
him. He was actually I liked him. I was actually surprised with how he worked with everything, because I was hearing all these problems with behind the scenes and everything, how they had to get an acting coach. He was literally the first one they casted. He was the first one to audition. They just casted him, and I was like, well, that's insanity.
Yeah.
They didn't. I don't know how many people they went through, but I think he was literally the first one to audition. But I thought he did really well. He wasn't. He definitely wasn't Harrison Ford, but he at least felt like a younger Han Solo, what he would be. There's a decent amount of time in between where young Han Solo is in this movie to where we see him in A New Hope, where he could still be a different character, in a sense, So I like that.
The third time watching it, I was specifically paying attention to his acting, and seeing his mannerisms, where he was I felt like he wasn't completely copying Harrison Ford. And I liked that he was more optimistic, and he wasn't yet as cynical as he was gonna be in those movies. But you can see that he's getting there, But I thought that he was when I saw that he was going to be cast, I was really worried, because I only known him as that cowboy and
I don't know him from anything.
Oh, Hail Caesar.
I wanted to see that.
I didn't want him to be this. I thought that he was going to be a cartoon character, that Disney was just going to do. So I was very happy with him.
Well, with the Lego movie, those directors who directed the Lego movie, I don't know their names. They were originally supposed to direct, the Han Solo movie, and then they got fired. And I think all the comedy bits that they kind of had, it was going to be more of a comedy kind of movie, and then I think Ron Howard kind of made it more, condensed it into more serious and gritty.
I like how they actually went into showing how they actually just didn't just fast forward him so fast through his life. They actually showed him his point B, point A. There's a point B somewhere in there. Then you get to the C point. And then it it wasn't A to C just so quickly and mixed. You actually got to see him see how his beginning started and go into how I signed up for the freaking military for the Empire. Then and then now I'm in wartime. We actually got to see him in wartime. Then he ditches it and gets away from it.
Yeah, I like how he just left.
You never spend too much time in one spot. Right. Which I think some people don't like, but I think that that's something I do like.
Yeah, kept going.
When watching this 3 times in one weekend, it was
God,
there were parts where I was where the third time I was I should go to sleep now, but I was no, because this is gonna be over soon, and I want to catch what comes next. The train sequence and the Kessel Run when they're flying back. Those are 2 sequences where the third time was kind of I could fall asleep now.
That's how it was with Deadpool,
but
man.
I knew that there was going to be some cool shit, and I wanted to stay awake from it.
One of the moments that I really wanted to talk about, is how he got his name. That's some bullshit.
That's some bullshit.
That is so bullshit. And I'm I'd rather have him be in his head, I'm Solo right now, Han Solo.
No, I mean,
just
his name could just be Han Solo.
Yeah,
why does he need to not have a last name?
I feel he just needs to, I think he just should have just looked at himself and for a second just say it out loud to the guy.
Yeah, he should just
came up with it himself.
I just think that he
started to bring it back up.
If they I don't think that ever should have been something that they needed to establish. Why is his last name Solo? I don't think that was a question anyone had. No. There's mysteries about Han, not his last name. His last name's Solo. We don't need to know why.
Yep. It's just another thing is the whole Chewie fight scene. That was just fucked.
Why was that fucked?
Just to me, it just felt fucked.
Because he spoke Wookiee?
Yes. The Wookiees-ness. And it was horrible Wookiee voice.
Both of these points are very minor to me.
Really?
I did not really care about
these nitpicky ones are the only things I didn't like about it.
Right. Like the Han Solo, I mean, I get it. It was kind of dumb, but I kind of accept it. I'm whatever. He doesn't have a name. He's an orphan. Whatever. He got his name. That's fine. Like you said, the acting and the delivery was fine, so I kind of accepted it. The thing with Chewie being in that cell underground or whatever. I liked the whole reveal. Like he's like just comes out. Like it sounded like a Rancor at first. I didn't
absolutely.
know.
They were giving you Rancor.
Yeah, I was wondering if they added that in or if that was just my subconscious mind just going like, oh, there's a Rancor.
I think they're giving you imagery.
Like the whole thing, the setup of the pit, and everything feels like there's a body there.
I love
when he got like kicked or pushed or whatever, punched, and he like fell on his back, and then he went. Like that sucked. Like I felt the pain of falling all that way into that mud. That was real.
And like it made sense for me for him to speak Wookiee would be like the first thing he kind of does to gain Chewie's trust in the show that he actually understands what he's saying. Obviously, like if a guy's going out like it's gonna be ridiculous, but like I mean, the whole language is kind of ridiculous.
No one has ever spoken like Wookiee, as far as I know. Let me know if anyone has. But it was like that's kind of ridiculous that they would just add that in. But also that means that there's some kind of science to the Wookiee speak. Which is like I always assumed it. You know, it just works better if it's just a growl here and there that doesn't have any sort of science behind it.
I mean, it made sense, and plus there's like guards on top, so like they're trying to communicate to each other, so the guards won't know what exactly they're trying to do. Like he's trying to get Chewie to punch the pipe, you know. So like
so if you just cross that off, not liking it.
So like, I did not
He's
have a
fixing this problem
with that,
right now.
I like those two guards too.
Yeah,
you kill them too fast. Kill them slower.
The banter was pretty good.
Yeah.
I did like that, and like how Chewie was all like mucked up and everything.
He looked like a Sasquatch.
Yeah,
I didn't want him touching me, you know, and he's getting his face whipped in the dirt. There's two really tiny moments that I didn't like that I just wanted to run through real quick. There's this one alien that like bites his nails. He's like, and his nails fly up out of the thing.
I don't remember that.
It's 3 seconds long.
Oh, it's at the card game.
At the card game, it's Disney like all the way. And then as soon as I thought it was Disney, I was like, George Lucas has done some pretty Disney shit, you know. Like
yeah, but I don't think he would have done that.
Everything Jar Jar, like when he licks the thing, he pulls his tongue, and then like that's almost the same.
Where's the Jar Jar movie? I'm like
I really wanted.
I would be totally into a Jar Jar movie.
I really wanted.
I'm like, hell yeah! I'm leaving first.
No, I would be into it. I would give money
interesting. You're right.
to fund that.
Exactly.
I was expecting to see
a Jar Jar movie.
I was expecting to see a Gungan in there somewhere, and they gave me other characters. They gave me a Twi'lek and a Rodian.
A Twilight.
And then when L3 dies, and Lando's like, you're dead.
That's another point I wanted to get to.
Like,
I think this had a really.
She's a robot. I mean, she's a robot, and like we're watching Star Wars. We know how that works. Like, she did not die. She's got like her hard drives in her. You could just,
plug her in.
Sync that up to some other thing.
Body or
she's fine.
Machinery.
You left her legs, no big deal.
Just put her in the Millennium Falcon. Now she's the brain.
Also, Lando had no like hard time thinking, let's just put her in the Millennium Falcon. Like, why did he cry about her dying? She's a robot.
Like I was trying to say, they have a thing. Yeah, I feel like they had a thing.
Yeah, no, they absolutely had a thing.
They had a thing. And he didn't want to give her a new body because I wasn't going to feel like that body.
I think that it's really funny. Like I think that 50% of L3 was hilarious and the other one was K2SO ripoff.
They had to top that one.
L3 I despise. She was the most annoying Star Wars character since Jar Jar Binks, and I actually like Jar Jar Binks. So, like, I didn't mind that like she was like a second-class citizen because I only like kind of touched upon that in A New Hope when like, oh, you're droids, get them out of here.
We don't serve their kind here.
That was the only
is the like motto for that sort of oppression,
right? And like that's the only place they really touched on that subject. And I don't mind like a droid being like a liberator and everything, like trying to.
I loved that.
Like when they're all smashing the machinery and everything.
The Kessel Riot is one of my favorite moments.
Right. And I wanted to get to Lando, where like he cares about this droid, which makes absolutely no sense because when you get to Episode 5, Empire Strikes Back, there's a whole room where there's destroyed droids
Maybe
no one cares about.
This is the start of it, you see, because
he does not care about
his
any
heart.
so
His heart is broken after L3.
Like I was saying, no robot felt the same.
And the room in episode 5, there's so many destroyed droids. He does not care about any of these things.
Yeah.
He does not care. You know, like that's where I
didn't. Let's talk about Lando
It's
though.
not
I didn't like Lando, and I didn't like Donald Glover's portrayal of Lando. I felt like when you first hear his voice, he's doing an impression, a Billy D. Williams impression.
Captain Lando Calrissian, Han Solo.
Looks like you're having a good day.
I'm a lucky guy.
Can I ask you a question, Captain Calrissian?
Anything, Han? I heard a story about you. I was wondering if it's true. Everything you've heard about me is true.
Like, and throughout the entire movie, he was really, I think, the weakest actor in the film. You know,
I was okay with him when
I didn't mind him either. I understand.
Bad.
Yeah, like what the kid, the Han Solo actor did with Han Solo. He was, you know, doing his own thing. He wasn't doing a straight up like impression of Harrison Ford, which you know kind of Donald Glover was doing of Lando. But like, I mean, I kind of just grew onto it, and I kind of accepted the fact. I didn't think he was bad. He wasn't like a big significant character in the movie either. So like, I guess if he had more of a presence, it would have.
How long was he on film
affected.
for? Like at least 5 minutes.
2 hours and 14 minutes.
No, I mean, how long
His
was
character?
his character?
It was definitely more than
14
5
minutes.
minutes.
No, I have no idea.
Like, the one thing that was like weird, like he actually back to Lando and everything. He actually made that thing look like nice.
Yeah,
he was
definitely.
a neat,
it
neat
was great
guy.
to see
He
how
was like.
pristine
Then
it
he
was.
had. Then he had like his cape room and everything, and that got really weird. I know he likes his cape, but like there was a shit ton.
Yeah, they made a joke
I
about
didn't
it.
mind that. It just looked like terrible 70s
reminds me of-
wardrobe.
I didn't like that one scene where Han takes the coat hanger away from Amelia
Oh, he
Clark,
just-
and then like just puts it on the wall and like it makes a violent clinking noise. He's like, "Fuck that cape, let's have sex."
That's an exact line of dialogue in this family film. So be ready, folks.
It was a weird line. What about Rio, played by Jon Favreau? That four-armed
Oh yeah. He ends up getting shot in the back, and he's like, "No, I'm fine, I can fly." And he's like passing out at the same time.
that was him?
Yeah. What did you
monkey
guys think
thing?
about? What did you guys think about?
I think it was cool bringing him as that character and actually having it's just they hit him pretty well in the beginning when they had him as the
Watching it
BatYard.
for the third time, I noticed that there was no fucking way that there was a tiny four-armed creature walking in that costume.
Right.
The way it turned its head and did stuff. No. But
then you see him pull his pants
Whatever.
up and he saw his arms over there and Han's I saw you.
yeah, I was thinking it's I don't know how they tried to pull that
It's two
off.
people in one.
What did we think of Enfys Nest?
What?
The leader of the gang.
Oh, I thought that it was gonna be so like a crazy bounty hunter style.
I was expecting a Boba Fett kind of.
Yeah, that's what they're gonna do with this thing. That ends up being this teenage girl, 20-year-old girl. I'm like, what the fuck? She does all this shit.
Yeah.
It just shocked me at the end. I was like, alright, whatever. She's badass.
Yeah,
She had a cause.
I thought it was cool. I liked the music. Those when I first watched it, I was like, those damn children are back.
I heard complaints about the music and the brightness of the movie.
Oh, it was
how
dark.
It was darker.
It was hard to see.
To be honest, I don't know how that was because literally I sat in the very front row looking at the movie
oh
this.
my god.
So I was the image is right in my face, and it looked very bright from that point of view. So I didn't know where the complaints were coming from. But I'm sure if you actually had respectable seating, you would get a different
It was a lot
experience.
darker than bright than I expected. I was like, oh
Right.
shit, I'm like 3D, that would have been worse.
Yeah.
Like the color, I guess the color was really muted.
No, it was very dark, and I felt like they had like a noir thing that they were trying to do. There was also
Right.
like a western thing that they were trying to do.
which I liked.
And I liked it, both of them. And I didn't feel, and watching it 3 times, I really looked for it. I didn't feel like there was a disconnect between 2 different directors. When I watched it the first time, I didn't know it was Ron Howard. I didn't know anything really about the movie. And when I saw it, when they had like close-ups of Han and like the Millennium Falcon and stuff, I was like, this feels like Ron Howard, and I like it. This guy's like doing a Ron Howard. And then at the end of the movie, the screen does the thing, and then it's Ron Howard, a Ron Howard movie, and I was like, oh my god!
Yeah.
So I thought that was good. You know, I didn't think that there was like a thing going on.
What was that scene with the robot arena? What is that place called? What was that with the robot arena?
The robot arena.
Yeah, where was that located? What
That
was
was-
that bar scene?
So it's only been out a few weeks now. I haven't learned all the planet names.
I wanted to get it like in the background. They had the Jim Carrey Grinch was dressed up like in the background.
In one of the dice.
No, he was actually in the background.
really?
No,
Was it Jim
I
Carrey?
would believe it. The dice. When they were coming up in The Last Jedi, I just was very, very mad every time the dice were on screen. I was like, why do I care about these dice?
Right.
These dice have no... they never came in the series ever before.
Help me.
Why?
Evil Dad. Evil Dad's here.
Evil Dad.
Evil Dad.
It really made me mad. And then so when the beginning of the Han, the fucking dice are in your face, they're like, look at these dice.
Right.
They literally did that. So...
my God.
So the only time you see the stupid dice in the original trilogy is in A New Hope, and you barely see it, like at all. Like you literally have to have a magnifying glass to see it. It's like in one
Isn't it in the
shot.
background?
It's just like hanging right up here, and like when they're flying the Millennium Falcon going towards the space station, and it's like such an insignificant thing. It's like if they like they had a red flashing audio button that was in the background that they took from the crew. That like they
And
used that
also-
instead. Like
and
Luke's
also-
holding a red button.
It didn't.
In the background,
Yeah, exactly.
like,
And it
was such a nothing
showed.
thing.
It never showed up again because apparently the prop was stolen. It wasn't in the next 2 Star Wars movies.
Really?
It was never a significant thing that represented Han
was
Solo.
not.
And for some reason, it represented Han Solo throughout that entire movie, The Last Jedi. And then I realized why, because
It's lucky.
it's representing Han Solo in this movie. So.
It's a lucky dice.
I guess.
And then apparently the dice are supposed to
So-
have been used to win the Falcon. But did you see the dice win the Falcon?
No.
No, that shit did not happen. And,
I did not know that. That was the point of
and
the
so
dice.
they're even less significant. I feel like
So the only significance you get is from this movie. To be honest, it's the only place
and I mean,
where you get the significance.
when you
of Han
isolate like this movie, like the dice work in just this movie alone. Like he has them in the beginning. They're his lucky dice. You don't know
Right.
anything about Solo yet
Right.
because and
Right.
he has the dice.
Like
and
this
then-
is if this is your first viewing
Yeah.
of any Star Wars anything,
Yeah.
it would
And then I kind of like that it's in the Falcon, and then it goes, and then we never
It's
see
just
it
a
again
little-
because the Last Jedi didn't happen.
right.
That reminds me of I played Sabacc with Paul, like with the
That's actually a game
The-
before this movie.
yeah. It's an universe game, which is cool to see it being played. It's being played differently than what I understand, but it's being played more like poker.
Right.
But I feel like it, maybe different planets play different types of Sabacc, so.
Or universes?
With that, with the whole gambling thing, Han loses the first game, right? When they're playing.
Yes,
against
he
Lando.
does. But
He would have won
He would've
though
won.
if he didn't.
Well, you're right,
Yeah.
right, but he still lost.
Yes.
And he said, "I'll give you my ship."
Yeah.
Where's the ship?
They would ship that man.
Right,
Like, come on.
exactly.
I think that Lando knew that he didn't have the ship, but was gonna try to make him pay for it no matter what. But also
That's why he was going for like a higher price.
right.
If you think about it, he was going for a higher price, and freaking what's his name? Woody
Harrelson.
Oh yeah, Beckon just freaking is like, no, you go at this price, and he's like, all right, I'll go this price.
That was a good moment too. I was really worried that this movie was gonna be that Han was gonna be Jack Sparrow, and that this movie was gonna be like Pirates of the Caribbean, like nonsense action and just over the top and just like bullshit, and that Jack Sparrow like gets out of situations using his guile and like wit. I thought that's what they were gonna do.
You seen the new Pirates of the Caribbean? That's failing now.
No, I know, that's what I mean. This is a bad thing.
That's like the only good part.
This is a bad thing. I thought that it was going to be bad like the new Pirates of the Caribbean. Like, I like the original ones, but the way that they're going now.
The original first one? That's the only one I like.
The original first one. I thought that they were going to do a rip-off of Pirates. I really did. Especially with the train scene in the trailer. I was like, it's a rip-off. They didn't do that, and I was very grateful for that.
So I wanted to kind of discuss Han Solo as a character within the original trilogy, and why I feel like Harrison Ford kind of has a bad taste in his mouth, like how he, like, kind of wanted to get away from Han Solo.
Yeah.
Like with Harrison Ford, he is like very open to do Indiana Jones, like a new one. I think he's open to do one now. He was open, obviously, with the Crystal Skull, and every time. Like, even with the original trilogy, he wanted to be killed off.
Oh, yeah, he wanted to kill himself in the fifth one.
And, I mean, they eventually did that in Force Awakens. And, I saw there's, like, an interview, like, he said, like, there's not really a lot you can do with this character of Han Solo. Which I kind of understand, because Han Solo, within the first time you see him in A New Hope, he's just like, he already has his mindset. He's just a sleaze. All he cares about is his money and like what he wants, his own personal gain. And within the end of the movie, he kind of warms up to Luke and all these characters and everyone he's been introduced to. He's pretty much like the big brother character, kind of like just kind of telling Luke like, oh, you can't do this, or like, you know, bringing him up or whatever. And like eventually his arc is that he like actually becomes selfless and like almost sacrifices his life to save the rebellion.
You're all clear, kid. Now let's blow this thing and go home.
There's not really much else you could do with this character. Like he's just like he has his mindset. You know, he knows what he's doing, and the only time he changes is when he meets these specific group of characters. You know, like with Luke and Princess Leia and, you know, Obi-Wan Kenobi. He realizes the importance of what's going on with the Empire and the Rebellion and everything like that. And there's not, like, besides that, there's not a whole lot of stories you could really tell.
Like, my favorite character was never Han. Like, I never really wanted more Han. Like, one of my favorite characters now is, like, Boba Fett. And, like, I would like to know a little bit more about Boba Fett, like, official canon.
Well,
for the movie.
Like, with the movie about Boba Fett, I think there's a lot more you can do with that kind of concept.
That's my
because
point.
It's a very big open book. You don't really know anything about this character.
Yeah.
And
except for in the Clone Wars.
And like even with the original trilogy, after like Han Solo sacrifices himself after Empire, literally all of Episode 6 of Return of the Jedi, he has literally like nothing to do. You know, he already done his arc. He already like came to the point where he's you know, he's gonna do anything for his friends, and then there's nothing for him to do after.
He had to find out that Leia and Luke are brothers and sisters.
Yeah, and then that's it. And then he makes Ben Solo after that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that this movie was interesting because he was, like I said, he started off, you know, being so like optimistic, and then you can slowly see him, like, he learns. Like when he shoots Beckett. Like,
that's his arc.
Spoiler.
That's his arc. That is his arc though, because like in the beginning, I'm not sure he would have like shot first, you know, but he learns in the end, and that's him. That's it. There it is.
I feel like we didn't even talk about Beckett at all.
No, we barely.
We didn't even talk about Beckett. Was like actually my favorite character throughout this whole fucking movie.
Yeah, he was great. Woody Harrelson was great.
Oh yeah.
Wow, you just didn't like him. No.
He was really good. He served the purpose. He kind of was Han Solo's
mentor,
Obi-Wan Kenobi in a sense.
Yeah.
And it made sense for him to kind of double cross him in the end anyway, and then he.
I love that double cross business that happened at the end. Like, I knew that there was going to be some betrayal,
right?
But I didn't know it was going to be like, it didn't go down like that. And then the whole fight scene at the end, and then where we actually get to see some Terrace Kasai action.
Is that the only time? That's the only time she even fights hand-to-hand combat, right?
Well, where we see it on screen, yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's what I mean. Like,
yeah.
It's just that one. Where is she?
Yeah, but it's really
elevator.
cool.
I don't even know.
In that one secret room. But yeah, no. When she did that move though, like where she got the knife out of him with the sword.
Oh, the sword.
She stabbed him in the heart. Fucking awesome. He's not a very lucky guy, Paul Bettany.
No, he's not. And what the reveal?
I know these names.
I don't.
I just know them.
Yeah.
I don't have them written down in front of me. So one of the criticisms that I've heard for this movie, there's like 3 points that people have really been criticizing. Right now. Some people have been criticizing it for lacking in depth, for it being for the stakes not being high enough. And also, Paul was criticizing the romance.
The romance wasn't like really super established. I have to say it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Amelia,
it was lacking.
Kyra wasn't in, like, she knew what she had to do. She couldn't be in love with Han, and she was just trying to make it easy for him, you know. But Han was so in love with her, you know, that he was just like blinded, like there was no love story. Han thought there was, but there wasn't.
Which I thought it worked.
But that gave him like hope that would like that's the only thing that was like keeping him going. Like he's gonna make this money, go get his girl from freaking that shithole planet, then come back and get a good ship too. And then come back and then start a new life of this money and ship and stuff.
I love that right in the beginning. He you knew what he wanted. He wanted to get out there, become a pilot, come back, get her. Like that was very clean, stark. He knew what it was. And then once he saw her at the thing, he was like, "Now I know where she's at. Now all I have to do is get her." You know, and like that. But that's not how it works, you know. And I thought that was very interesting.
Like I feel like when they introduced her again in the movie, and he figures out her. And I was like, Han Solo's literally gonna just say, fuck this shit, and grab her and run. That's what it felt like in the movie. I'm like, this is gonna be a shitty part. Because I feel like he's gonna try to drag her away. But it never happened. I was like, alright.
It really shocked me to see her again. But she was like, I felt like when you saw her then, she's a different character. Like,
she matured and changed this whole like persona of what she was.
The other thing I thought was the high stakes. People criticize it because like in Star Wars, like A New Hope, if they don't succeed, like the galaxy is gonna keep on being like impending doom or whatever. But in this one, I felt like the stakes were a little bit more personal, and I felt like that made it feel to me higher. Because if he didn't succeed with the Kessel Run, you know, he would die. If he didn't do this, they would be killed. Like I felt like it was life or death the entire movie.
I feel like the episodic pictures should be the ones with the big like life or death for the whole universe. Like with this like independent Star Wars stories, those are the ones that are meant to be smaller stories anyway. So I don't even understand that.
It's named after one character, Han Solo. It should be about him. His whole universe, this movie's universe, would be destroyed. And it only focused on him. It was only ever on him.
It shouldn't really affect everyone else. Maybe in a very small way, but like it shouldn't be like death to the whole universe.
I thought that was refreshing too.
Right.
And then also, people say that it lacked in depth. I'm not sure, like, in what way, like, A New Hope would have depth. Like, what I mean is, like a duality, like, what they're saying, like, means something else, or, like, they're trying to make a statement about something. I feel like Star Wars hasn't been known to do that too much.
Why would they need a statement for Solo?
I don't know. I felt like Rogue One did it. I'm not sure why people criticize this movie for lacking in depth. But I did think that this was a deeper one, and that was on my first viewing before I heard this criticism. And I was thinking, like, man, they're really hitting at something, you know? There's this thing where everybody's trying to get the coaxium. The coaxium is an incredibly precious element.
Light speed and fluid, man.
Yeah, and
Liquid swords.
So like
Liquid
everybody's
swords.
fighting over this, kind of like how we're fighting for fuel. You know, that's a very real thing, a very current thing that we're doing in the globe.
Dude, I'm about to fight my neighbor for gasoline.
And then also like Enfys Nest and the Cloud Rider gang, like they are the Cloud Riders. They never said that name in the show, in the movie, but it's in the book, the like guide.
No, I think they mentioned
like
it.
cloud
I
speed
feel like they
thing?
did,
Cloud
but you saw it
Riders.
3 times.
Yeah, you're right.
I believe they
It's
did.
official, Cloud Riders. The you know how they were after it.
This is my
Crimson
go-to Cloud Rider.
Crimson Dawn was after it. Crimson Dawn was after the coaxium. Like everybody's after this coaxium, and they introduced it in the beginning. I got this little jar of coaxium. Wow, that's worth like 400 credits. And then they're like, this is worth at least 800 credits. And they're like, you could be detained just for having that. Like I felt like they were getting at something with this, like how valuable this element is. And I felt like it mirrored the Kyber crystals in Rogue One.
Okay, so the one point I wanted to bring up, the Imperial March by John Williams is now Star Wars canon.
It was Star Wars canon before this because it was used for Imperial Day or Empire Day or whatever it's called in Rebels.
See, I don't watch
Yeah, I never watched
And I thought it was cool then. I think it's cool now.
I mean, I
It's also in a slightly. It's like in a major key, so it's a little bit different.
It is. It's like more of like a propaganda. Like, oh,
Yeah,
join
it's
the
like
Empire.
propaganda.
Like, join.
No, I do kind of take
Join
issue
us.
with it. Do you take issue with it?
I kind of do. I'm kind of indifferent about it. I mean,
Yeah.
I think. I don't know if this is true. The 2 directors. I feel like that was more of their decision because I think they
that's
wanted
a
to do
Disney
more of a
thing.
comedy
That's just
thing.
Disney.
Right. I don't know.
Because that's something that Ron Howard, when he saw the final cut, or the draft before the final cut, would have been like, I don't like it, and then they could have took
Right.
it out. But so that means somebody wanted it, you know.
And then he would have had the Grinch kiss a dog's ass.
You're bringing that up because he directed The Grinch. Didn't he direct The Grinch?
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
That's why,
I was
yeah.
like, why the fuck?
That movie's god awful, man.
Let us know what you think in the comments below.
That way. This way. Oh, it's billowing.
Oh, it's Bilbo Baggins.
Alright, I'll let you fix it. But there you go. That's the guy. He played him. He played him. Look, I got this too. Alright.
Harrison Ford, if you watch
Harrison
this
Ford,
ever,
yes.
let us know what you think in the comments below.
Let us know about our structure.
I suddenly got really nervous because I was speaking directly to Harrison Ford. I didn't know what I was going to say.
He is
there.
He's the camera. So I think we're done.
Make sure you subscribe so that you don't miss all the important reviews that are coming in the future, like The Grinch.
Right, The Grinch is the most.
You're not going to want to miss that shit, man.
Right, exactly. That's the most important thing you could do with your life.
I'll be reading the book at the same time.
You have what it takes.
Tonight, finally feeling free and it feels so right. Oh, time to do the things I like. Gonna see a princess, everything's alright. Oh, no job but an answer to. Ain't a fixture in the palace zoo. No, and since the carbonite's off me, I'm living life now that I'm free. Yeah, told me get myself together. Now I got myself together. Now I made it through the weather. Better days are gonna get better.